Yeah, hi folks. Wow, did you see that the other day? Patrick Flower went undercover. But first, I wonder if people have actually thought about what these vaccine passports mean. Pretty much every developed country in the world right now has a record of every citizen they have, with a QR code attached. Now, if you consider the UN's Great Reset and Build Back Better plans that have been implemented around the world right now, there has to be some kind of global communism link. Anyway, back to Patrick Flower.
A News Hub investigation has uncovered a doctor in Christchurch handing out medical certificates as exemptions for the vaccine.
The registered GP boasts that one of her certificates has been used to evade international border control and coaches her patients on how to get around vaccine mandates. National correspondent Patrick Gower reports.
Into the doctor for an appointment.
What's the date today?
Second, and you don't have to wear your mask if you don't want to.
But this doctor is different. No masks are needed.
You don't have to wear your mask in here if you don't want to.
The waiting room is full and Dr. Joni Gerard knows why they are there.
I understand everyone is here because they're concerned about the mandates and not sure how to negotiate that.
They don't want the COVID vaccine.
And you're here because you're not crazy about being vaccinated. Right, okay, you're in the right spot.
The doctor making her view on the vaccine clear.
I mean, really, this is horrible, horrible medicine.
Dr. Joni Gerard is a registered GP who runs a weight loss clinic in Kaiapoi. We learnt that she was issuing medical certificate exemptions to the vaccine to anti-vaxxers. So we just
They do the elbow thing, but neither of them are wearing masks.
decided to go in undercover.
Good to go.
Stay safe. With a highly experienced journalist using a
highly experienced journalist, just like you, Patty.
More than that, there's polling that has been done in this country where over, I believe when I checked last, it was around 70% of people here agreed we should have the right to speak. So there is this radical minority that want to decide what the majority of people should think is hate speech and should be shut down.
Well, what people say is hate speech is when you say that diversity is a weakness.
Right, and the suffragettes would have been considered against the modern status quo at the time. Individuals who criticized Christianity hundreds of years ago would have been prosecuted under blasphemy laws. I now criticize the religion of diversity, and I'm considered committing hate speech because that is the popular culture at the time.
Well, what I say to you, Lauren Southern, is that New Zealand is a diverse country. You say diversity is a weakness. This country is known as a melting pot. Are you saying we're a weak country?
Will you accept the diverse view that women should be stoned for the crime of being raped?
A very, very long pause there. He's like a stunned mullet.
Answer the question.
Will you accept the diverse view that women should be stoned for the crime of being raped? Because that's what multiculturalism is. You accept all cultures.
The question here is...
You accept people of all diverse opinions. Is that a view that you believe should be included in this diversity?
You're not answering the question.
Yes, I am. I'm answering it by asking you, is diversity really a strength if you have to bring in views that are anti-women, views that are anti-democracy, views that are anti-free speech, views that go against everything that has created the most beautiful culture in the world, the West?
The question was, New Zealand is a diverse country. We're known as a melting pot. Many people here are very proud of that. You're on the record as saying that diversity is a weakness.
And it is a weakness, and she explained that very, very well, Patty. But sadly, you've never heard that answer in your bubble before.
Hidden camera, I was able to listen from the car as he posed asking for an exemption so he could work on mandated building sites.
What we're trying to do is give a medical certificate saying that you've been assessed and it is not appropriate for you to receive the current vaccine.
How will that help you? It depends on negotiations with your employers.
She's talking explicitly about how to negotiate with an employer about not being vaccinated.
Depends on
She even boasts about one of her certificates breaching international border control.
I have had someone be able to fly to Australia last week on one. So, I mean, we have had some success stories reported back to us.
After her opening spiel, Dr. Gerard starts seeing people one-on-one.
I'm going to start over here because I know you've been here the longest, okay?
It is important to note that proper medical exemptions can only be granted through the Ministry of Health.
Sorry, I've been waiting. Come on, Jennifer. Yes. Could you tell me why you don't want to be vaccinated?
I've been researching it.
And what do you find that you're worried about?
I don't know where to start.
It is also important to note that doctors like Dr. Gerard are meant to be vaccinated, and she isn't.
Now you can force me. I'll stop practicing medicine before I'll get vaccinated with this vaccine. I have had lots of vaccines before, but not this one.
And she's obviously got her reasons, but they don't matter. They'll shut her down anyway if they haven't done so already.
Dr. Gerard says she has applied for an exemption but has not heard back yet and will keep practicing until she hears.
I'm going to check your blood pressure. That's all right. And really, that's just to show that, in fact, you were physically here. And again, that's just documenting. So if anybody questions you, well, did you even see a doctor? We can say, yeah, you did.
Dr. Gerard is clear that the exemption will not necessarily work to get around mandates, but explains how to sell it to employers. And after just 6 minutes, our journalist is given his medical certificate.
So make a copy of it. Don't keep the original always on you, okay? Just in case something happens, it flies away.
Yeah, I'll laminate it. Yeah.
And when they ask you for it, just say, here you go. And when they say, well, what is this? That's when you explain what it
Do my
is.
spiel.
Yep, that's when you do your spiel. You say, I've been using it all over the place. No one's had a problem.
Okay. All right.
You sell it.
Thank you very much.
You become a salesman. Okay?
Thank you.
They don't know what they're doing. You got to coach them.
$80 later, he leaves.
Thank you very much. Okay. All right. Okay.
What happened, mate?
Well, she came out and spoke to, I think there was 6 or 8 of us, and spoke to us all, told us that she was going to issue us a certificate that, wasn't necessarily legally binding, and then she taught us how to deliver it.
The certificate says he has been examined by me and I've determined based on his medical conditions it would be inappropriate or unsuitable for him to be vaccinated. And it is signed by Dr. Gerard, a doctor registered with the Medical Council. Remember, she only took his blood pressure as a token gesture.
You're giving vaccine certificates to people.
Leave me alone.
Joni, why won't you answer?
Because I'm not talking to any journalists. Leave me alone.
Why won't you answer our questions? It's very important. Why are you giving certificates to people, exempting them from the vaccine?
Dr. Joni Gerard.
I mean, really, this is horrible, horrible medicine.
A doctor ignoring the rules.
Oh no, a doctor ignoring the rules. How dare anyone speak out against the rules? Now listen to what's going on in the Northern Territory, and hat tip to Operator 6 for this one.
Government House, good afternoon. Gower speaking.
Yes, hi, would the Governor or Administrator be there, please?
Who's this, sir?
My name's Steve, and I'm just after the Administrator of the Northern Territory.
Steve, what's your number, sir?
Sorry, I don't need to give you my number. I just want to talk to someone in relation to what you're doing in the Northern Territory today.
Can I transfer with you with someone, and
yes,
then he will bring you back?
Maybe bring me back.
He's
is he too busy committing war crimes? Is he?
I'm sorry.
Is he too busy committing war crimes?
No.
So what are you doing in the Northern Territory today? Do you even know?
I cannot give you the answer, sir. Sorry, I think someone needs.
So, do you want an answer? Do you want me to tell you what you're doing in the Northern Territory today?
It's better to talk to you by someone.
Right? Do you want to know? You live in the Northern Territory, don't you? You live there, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Right, so are you happy with the army forcibly removing people from their homes?
No, that's why I need you to give me your number and someone will...
Are you happy with that? I didn't ask you if I wanted to follow this path of questioning because you're obviously denying me access to your office. Okay?
I'm sorry.
I understand they put...
Right now?
I understand they put the old biddy at the front that doesn't know very much. And I know that they do that to obstruct us from getting access to that office. We know this clearly. Right, so can you just pass a message on to that office, considering that we know it's not going to respond?
Okay, I will.
You're a bunch of war criminals.
I will be done.
You're force vaccinating people across your territory. Michael Gunner is a war criminal going against The Hague, Geneva, the Treaty of Versailles, Nuremberg. He's using the military and the police, policy enforcers who are under oath as constables that are taking directives from government to go and commit war crimes against Australian civilians. Unarmed civilians are being dragged out of their homes by you lot. Are you happy with that?
Of course no, sir. But
Well, why are you doing it?
No one's doing it, and it's not our...
No one's doing it? I've got you recorded saying that no one's doing this, and I have evidence that this is being done in Catherine as we speak.
Now, folks, I've posted a link to the rest of that below in the description below. And there's also this internment camp in the Northern Territory as well.
These are actually uniformed police officers, normal police officers.
Yeah. So then the police officers blocked my driveway. I walked out and I said, what's going on? Are you guys testing me for COVID? What's happening? They said, no, you're getting taken away and you have no choice. You're going to Howard Springs. You either come with us now and we'll put you in the back of the divvy van, or you can have a choice to get a COVID cab. So of course, I chose the COVID cab because they said, well, if we're to take you, we're going to hand you a $5,000 fine. So, of course, I didn't want that to happen. So I just said, look, I don't consent to this. I don't understand why I can't just self-isolate at home like a lot of other people are doing. And they just said, we've just been told from higher up where to take you, and that's all that there is.
So Howard Springs is the biggest COVID camp in Australia, isn't it? It's a huge network of cabins that is built to house potentially infected people.
Yeah, so they are literally bringing in now hundreds of people that are of close contact or that have COVID. So it doesn't even matter if you test negative on your first test, your second or your third. They need to, because you're a close contact, you have to stay in there for 14 days. No matter what.
So let's get back to this situation at your house. So these two policemen, what is the choice they give you exactly? It's come with us in this van, or you get a $5,000 fine.
Yeah, so it's, you come with us, we take you there, and you're given a $5,000 fine, or we will call a COVID cab, and we will not fine you. So it's pretty much you have to consent, otherwise you're getting a $5,000 fine.
Okay, so then some hours later, the COVID cab arrives.
Yeah, it was probably the policeman stayed at my driveway until this cab came. They said, can you please go pack a bag? So I went and packed a bag, and whilst I was packing my bag, I had my housemates at the front speaking to them, and they said, is she able to just do a test? And once that test comes back negative, is she able to, you know, leave and come back to normal life? And these police officers said, yes, we're pretty sure that all you have to do is return a negative test and you'll be released. So that gave me, you know, that calmed me down knowing, okay, well, if I return a negative test, I can just go back home. So I got in the COVID cab and the police...
I think we've got some footage that your mum took, actually, that we can play of you waving goodbye and getting into the back of a van.
have just come and she's being taken away. But look at the COVID van.
Bistro pokies and functions.
How professional. Long live COVID.
There is a COVID taxi, but is actually a casino bus. So driving there, and then the police escorted me in, and then I never seen them police again. They left. They weren't allowed into the facility. So then new police came and they were in charge. Obviously, I was very distressed. I was crying. I was saying, this isn't fair. You know, it was just horrible to go through. And I stood there and I just said, can I please have a test now? Because I need these test results back, as I will be negative. And I later on, I was negative. The whole time I was there, I was negative. And I said, once these go negative, am I allowed to leave? And she said, no, you're here for the 14 days.
But the first time you found out that you were there for 14 days was when you arrived?
Yeah, folks, I've posted a link to the rest of that as well. Now, folks, I can't quite put my finger on it, but something is just not right here. It's almost as if our communists are doing a dummy run of some kind to see how compliant people will be for a future global takeover.